Welcome back to the Real Estate Girls podcast. We're your hosts, Heather and Casey. Whether you're buying, selling, or just obsessed with the market, we're here to bring you expert advice, behind-the-scenes stories, and a dose of realness. We've got a great episode lined up for you today.
Today, we are so excited to welcome our very special guest to the show, Angie Hale. Angie is originally from Mentor, Ohio, and has been serving the Bay County area as a real estate professional for more than 9 years. She's also one of our coworkers here at ERA Neubauer Real Estate and consistently ranks as a top producer in our market. In fact, Angie made an impression right out of the gate in real estate, earning a nomination for Rookie of the Year her very first year in business. Quite impressive. Before transitioning into real estate, Angie built an impressive career in media and advertising. She spent nearly 10 years as a senior account executive with Panama City Radio at Powell Broadcasting, and later served as a local sales manager for Magic Broadcasting. Outside of real estate, Angie has a huge heart for serving others. She volunteers with the Alliance of Therapy Dogs, visiting schools, assisted living facilities, and veterans' homes alongside her son's therapy dog, Ace. She also enjoys kickboxing classes to stay active, strong, and energized. Angie, we are so excited to have you on the podcast today. Welcome to the Real Estate Girls podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. So you've been in real estate for over 9 years. What originally made you decide to leave broadcasting for real estate?
Right. So I think I just had a little bit of a change of heart of getting out of broadcasting. The market changed and my career line had changed. I need something different. So I was trying to think of what I could do to stay in the same realm of with my clients and not completely change career paths. It was hard for me because I wanted to stay in the same career-centered industry, working with the same amount of people. And it was hard being in my late 30s, changing career paths. I was scared because I went from being a leader in my industry and being a teacher to starting something essentially completely over. So it was really nervous for me. So I went through a period where I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And with a lot of praying and a lot of just soul searching, I decided to take my real estate exam. And then I went and interviewed a couple different brokerages and decided that this was something I definitely wanted to do. It gave me the opportunity to work with the same group of people that I've been working with, same business owners, my same circle of influence that I've been working with. So same customer service industry.
So you did interview with different brokerages. So what made you pick ERA?
I did, and I always recommend, and I always tell folks when they ask me when they first, get into real estate or considering getting into real estate, I always tell them, I'm like, look, training is first and foremost. I tell people that's the foundation, because going from being someone who was a trainer, who, helped, who was in that role, starting something new was scary to me, and not knowing the answer. I had to tell people, I'm like, I have to get back to you on that. That was scary, being in my late 30s, starting a new career and not knowing everything. So I tell folks who are considering the real estate industry, I said, go to a brokerage where training is the foundation, because that's key. You have to have the proper foundation. And also, I tell folks all the time, I'm like, go interview with 3 brokerages, because you'll just know. You'll know where you feel like you belong. And in the interview process, from even walking in the door and getting greeted from the staff, and just you'll know where you feel like you belong.
Who interviewed you? Was it Steve or was it? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was Steve.
Yep. Cool. Same for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw a statistic the other day, actually, that most women change career paths in their late 30s. Have you seen that one?
Oh, no.
No, I didn't, but that's interesting.
And many women hit a high level of success in their mid 40s once they've actually changed career paths.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Pretty interesting.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And being Rookie of the Year, a nomination, which you should have won. I mean, how many transactions did you do that first year in real estate?
It was crazy because I had no idea I was even going for that. I just knew I didn't want to fail, so I had no idea. And I know that when I started in the business, or I was considering in the business, and I was reaching out to people, and they're like, look, you're not going to have a paycheck for 6 months, so just know that it's really tough. It's a dog-eat-dog world, and I was like, okay, I could do this. So I'm like, I'm going to prove everyone wrong. So I knew when I hit the ground running, I'm like, I'm going to have a transaction under my belt in 30 days. So I'm like, I could do this. I'm going to show everybody wrong. I had no idea the volume or the amount of transactions people do. I didn't know. I just knew I was going to have something under my belt and under contract in the first 30 days. And then from there, I was just going to hit the ground running. But I didn't know I was up for even a nomination for Rookie of the Year.
Well, when you do so many
I didn't know.
transactions, because there are some stats I was reading the other day NAR released. The first 1 to 2 years, which is considered a newer agent, they're doing a median of 3 transactions or less.
Right, which is crazy.
So you did far more than that your first year, which, I mean, having that many transactions in your first year is quite impressive in a new industry. So, good. So you glad you made the switch?
Definitely.
Okay, good. We are too.
Yeah, for sure.
The market today is very different from when you first got licensed. What was one of the biggest changes you've seen in the industry over, the last couple of years? Because that was over 9 years ago now.
It was over 9 years ago. Sure. I think buyers and sellers are much more educated now than they were in the beginning. I think when we meet with sellers, I feel like they have a general idea of how much the value of their house is. And I think when we meet with buyers now, they're coming to us hopefully pre-qualified and with a list of houses that they already want to see and a general idea of what they need. More so now with AI and with the internet and with Zillow. I think that they are just coming to us much more educated, and whether the sellers have an idea of whether they've done their homework with what the neighbor's house sold for, or of what their emotional attachment is to the house and what their value is that they feel like the house is worth. But I just feel like I was going into it a little bit cold too, and having to do my own research so much heavily based on comps and everything, and we still do that now, but I feel like we were going into it a little bit blinded when I first started, and now you have to be at the top of your game because you are hitting these sellers and these buyers, and they're so much more educated than they ever have been.
And everybody knows a realtor.
Yeah.
Right, of course.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
what's the statistic? Everyone knows 12 realtors.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
Buyers and sellers are way more educated. I agree with you. And it's like, how do you convince them to not use a friend that's done one transaction in the last 5 years and use you instead? So, I agree. I think they are more educated.
For sure.
On, and they want to know, what do you bring to the table?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So talking about that, what do you think separates a good realtor from a great realtor?
Sure. And that's something too, and it's something that, when everyone knows someone, it's like just because your aunt does have a real estate license, and maybe she's only done 1 or 2 transactions a year, and a lot of times that's hard conversation to have as well, because times are changing now and the laws are changing too. And so keeping up with, your education is so important, and the contract laws. And so it's hard if you only do 1 or 2 transactions a year versus someone who is part-time, someone who's
you've
full-time.
cranked out like 50 or 40, 50 a year.
Right.
Every year.
Yeah.
Every
Which is
year.
incredible.
Yeah. I know you
Yeah.
don't want to say it, but I'll say it here. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
That's unheard of, I think, for most realtors in the market. That's
yeah,
amazing. Good job, Angie.
Right.
yeah, keep
thanks.
it up.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of the norm, though, for, the amount of volume that is out there. But everyone does know someone who's a realtor.
Yeah.
And, everyone knows someone. So just interview multiple people. And that's what I tell people all the time, too. Even when I meet with sellers, they'll interview a couple people and who they feel comfortable with. And even buyer's agents now are interviewing buyer's agents. Buyers are interviewing buyer's agents.
You have the buyer broker compensation
Absolutely.
agreement now, which
Absolutely.
is, that came out recently. I know it's been a couple of years now, but that's changed the game as well. For those of you who don't know what a buyer broker compensation agreement or property pre-touring agreement, can you explain that, what that is?
Sure. So essentially, it is a commitment. I tell people it's a commitment to work together, and that's essentially what it is. It's a commitment for the buyer to work with the buyer's agent, and it explains our compensation, and it outlines that, and it's a partnership. It's a partnership to work together, essentially. In layman's terms, that's essentially what it is for people who don't understand. So,
I like how you put that. It's a partnership, but there's also different models for different brokerages and different agents. What's your opinion on the different models that are out there? So say you have like a flat fee listing agent or a flat fee brokerage or something like that.
Because, all commission's different. It's negotiable. Not what I charge, you might charge differently, or what, other agents might charge. So what is your take on that?
Sure. So, I mean, there are different types of forms you can sign as a buyer's agent with a buyer before you go view a home. And so there's a showing agreement. There's a buyer brokerage agreement. And so depending on my relationship with the buyers, sometimes it's scary for you to sign a buyer broker agreement, which is sometimes a long commitment. And so I tell the buyer sometimes it's kind of like dating. So if we're newly dating, we're going to sign what's called a showing agreement. And that's just simply we're showing a couple houses together, we're dating, and we're going to see if we like each other. If we want to partner together and work together, then we're going to sign a buyer broker agreement. And that's a long-term commitment. And that's less scary and less aggressive than hitting them with a long-term commitment, because we might not be a good fit together, and that's okay. And if, and that's fine.
Because before this, you had buyers calling you up or whatever.
Calling the listing agent and just calling anyone on the sign.
Realtors, but with these agreements, you're actually making a commitment, like you are going to be my realtor, to help me, through this process. And it also discusses how much you will be compensated in the event that the seller does not compensate you, correct?
Mm-hmm. Right. So it does outline that as well. And I think, I don't think that there is much discussion about that, about how we do get paid. I think a lot of folks don't understand. I remember when I was first buying my very first house, we were military, and I didn't understand how real estate agents got paid because no one explained it to me. We were a young military family. And I remember the buyer's agent had a buyer broker agreement then, and this was 20 years ago. So, and she put it on the hood of her car, and she's like, "Are you working with other agents?" And we're like, "Oh my gosh," we were just calling literally every agent who was listed on the sign because we didn't know any better. We were a young military couple, and we're like, she's like, "Are you working with other agents?" And we're like, "Well, we don't know. Like, we're not committed to anybody." And she's like, "Well, I want to work with you. Sign this." And we're like, "Well, okay, we'll sign it," because we didn't know any better. But I guess that just goes back to, an agreement of how we get paid. We didn't understand how realtors got paid. We had no idea. And I don't think anyone really does understand that if the deal doesn't close, we don't get paid. And so we're just looking out for everyone's best interest in our time, and that, we want to make the commitment with you, and we want to partner with you. And I don't think people have enough of the conversations that say that we show you the 20 houses because we're making a commitment with you, and we want to partner with you. And if you don't buy a house with us, that's totally okay. And if you decide to rent, that's okay too. If it's not the right time today, it'll be the right time later on, and that's all right. But just, don't go rogue on us. And,
I like it. I personally like it because, you have a commitment with that buyer. So you're not like, if you're showing 50 homes, you know what I mean? And they're cheating on you. That's what I say. Yep. You can't do that anymore. I mean, you can, but you could get in a lot of trouble. And I always say, a lot of buyers right now, especially in the economy that we're in, inflation's still high, they'll say, "Hey, Casey, I don't have the money to pay you." And what I say in that instance is I say, okay, listen, 99.9% of listings in the MLS right now, the seller is going to compensate me. Okay. This is just in the event that they don't, and you love this house. This is the commitment. I'm away from my family, my friends, this is my job. This is how I make a living. And I think there has been a stigmatism of like, we're not going to talk about money, because I think a lot of times it kind of backfires because people don't really understand what we do until they're in it. And so, I mean, I'm for it. What about you?
Yeah.
Do you like them?
I love it. I think that it solidifies the commitment with buyers. I know we all have had that where we have a listing, this instance, and someone is driving by the property and they call our sign. And they say, "I want to look at this house right now." Well, are you working with another realtor? No, I'm not. Well, then you need to sign a buyer broker agreement. Oh, I'm not signing that. I work with so-and-so. So you are working with another realtor.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that it reduces that confusion, and I love that part of it. I
mean, I've run in all the time where people call me up and they're like, "Oh, I've been looking at multiple houses without these agreements." I'm like, "Okay, well, if you want to work with me, this is how I operate," because we could get fined. I mean, there's fines in place for this.
Do you think there are agents out there really doing that, showing houses with
for sure. I think so. I mean, I
don't know.
I don't know. Well, I mean, that's what the buyers. They're like, "We looked at house A across the street last week, and we didn't have to sign anything." And I'm like, are they lying? I don't know. But I'm like, that's fine. But this is how I operate. And sometimes it is kind of an inconvenience if you're on the fly. I had one this weekend. I've been working with this buyer for 2 years. You actually showed this buyer. You probably won't remember this because you always help everyone. But Thomas and I were in Kentucky hunting, and they wanted to look at a condo at Bay Point. You actually met them. I don't know if you remember. You did this for me.
Know.
Yeah, I know you don't remember because you help everybody. This is before the buyer broker agreements. Yeah. But anyways, I had one for her like last year. I think she signed in November, but we only did like 3 months or something like that. And it had expired. And I was like on the way to Majestic Beach Resort to show her condos. And I was like, crap. So I got on my phone, went to Dot Loop, sent her, I think it was a property pre-touring agreement, and just said, hey, listen, our agreement had expired. I need you, before I can show you these condos this weekend, I need you to sign. And so sometimes it is kind of an inconvenience, but you just got to make sure you're covered.
Yeah.
And so there has been some changes. What challenges do part-time real estate agents face in delivering a high level of service in such a fast-moving industry?
Sure. So I think it's, more power to you if you can do the hustle and do it part-time. I just know when buyers want to see houses, they want to see houses, and you have to be available. Like today I woke up, I didn't know what day it was because I showed houses all weekend.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times, you just work and work. And
did you get that one under contract over the weekend?
I do stress, we're negotiating.
Okay.
I do stress, having one day off to yourself for your mental health.
Yeah.
But when you go and go and go, some days you just don't even know what day it is. So if you can do this part-time, I don't know the level of service you can do, and you can give it to them, because when these buyers, when they're ready to buy, or when these sellers need you, you have to be available.
You have to answer your phone.
You have to.
I was always
available.
amazed, like as soon as I put a listing on the MLS, you're like, "Hey, nice listing!" Like within 30 seconds, and I'm like,
From Angie.
"Yes."
From me.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I didn't frame that well. Well, I'm just like you just or 'cause
Well, that
we
one
had-
that you just listed.
Yeah, I mean, you're just
Productive
what I'm
feedback.
trying to
Right.
say.
Bra hanging from the ceiling.
Oh, that one. I know. I did help you on that.
So tell them what happened, what she did.
Okay, so Angie, we put a new listing up together, and we didn't catch it. In one of the bathrooms, they had not the seller, it was a tenant, a bra hanging from the
A big
ceiling.
black bra.
And Angie texts, she's
Clear
like,
as day.
there's a bra.
Yeah. I'm like, you might want to.
I think you're
this
just so observant, on top of just being on the MLS constantly, which is what, to me, in my opinion, what makes you a great realtor, is you're so knowledgeable about the market.
Yeah.
Like people aren't on the hot sheet every day. Even if I'm talking to you, if I have a client that's, in a price range or whatever, you're like, hey, I saw this one was just listed, send it to him. Like you're very knowledgeable of the market. And I think because you live it, you breathe it, you live it. But at what point do you have to be like, I was just telling you before we walked in, like I'm trying to put my phone away at night. At what point do you have to say, okay, I need to put my phone away, take some time for me? Do you ever do that?
I know.
You just went on vacation, right?
I know. So I was talking to Kelly, who else we work with before this, and she's like, you're not human. She's like, real estate transactions don't bother you as much like they bother other people, because some people do get mentally drained by it. And I do remind myself that it's a 30-day transaction with most people. And it is a transaction. It is mentally draining, but it is, you have to just kind of decompress. And you have to remember they take the emotions out of it, and you have to help these folks get through it, because a lot of them, most of them are emotionally involved in it. You have to remind yourself that it's a transaction and you have to stay calm. But yes, everyone needs to check out sometimes, whether it's kickboxing, whether it's walking the dog, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's spending family time with your family, and you need to put the phone aside and just decompress, because it is draining. But I love it though. So I love the fight. I check the hot sheet probably hourly. I do. At stoplights, I check the hot sheet. So I know I'm not normal. I know I'm not normal. And I know 10 years into this, I'm still not normal, because it is my drug of choice. And so this is what I do.
I think you have to love it. Like there's, it's like any career. Like there's always good days and bad days, right?
Right.
Like
Sure.
I remember when
course.
we were driving back from Tallahassee,
Yeah.
because we were checking on my
Yes.
listing. Like that was a bad day for you, because
Yeah.
you got a call, you're supposed to close, there was a boundary dispute,
Yes.
and it was kind of funny. Like your client's hilarious actually on the phone. But you have your good days and bad days. But you do have to love it. You do have to, and I tell my clients all the time, they're like, oh, we don't want to bother you. It's like, you're not bothering me. I actually like to look at real estate.
Right.
Like I like to look at the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah.
I really like to look at the good.
Right.
New
Of course.
construction.
Of course.
But this is, you have to love it, I think, to be successful.
Yeah,
So.
you have to lean into it, and you definitely do that. That's why you're great.
I remind the agents all the time, though, like for every deal that we have that's mentally exhausting, you're due a freebie. Like you are due a bonus. You're due an easy
there's a
cash
good one.
lay down deal.
Yes.
Like you're due.
Those make up for the
God will
bad.
provide an easy one for you next, because not all of them are mentally draining. Some people just have harder times and are in harder situations, but they all aren't
And with
challenging.
time,
They
it
really
gets
aren't.
easier too.
Absolutely.
To just
Right.
take it, to not take it so personally.
Yes.
Right.
Angie, with inventory rising and homes sitting longer, how are you helping sellers stay competitive in today's market?
So how am I helping sellers stay competitive in today's market? So pricing is key. And when you go on the listing presentations, it's hard because some of these sellers are emotionally attached to their house. And, like we mentioned before, you're going into these presentations they have an idea of what their home is valued at, either what the neighbor sold their house for, or what their emotional involvement is in the house, or what they feel like they have put into the house themselves. And not every dollar for dollar equals a value on the house. So I just feel like, we're having to do more and more market research. We're having to sell ourselves, whether it's creative marketing, and we're having to do more. And we do more than just put signs out in the yards. So
Thank you.
Right. So, we are spending a lot of money on the back end on marketing these properties. And the photography bill
I want to
was...
see you on some videos.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the next thing too.
No.
Video is video. I know, and I keep telling myself, I know I need to do the
The
video.
reason why I started, because you said you were going to start doing it.
I know.
And then I started, what was it,
I know,
last year?
and my photographers are on me, and I know video is key, and that is up and coming.
She's a pro.
Yes, yes, Heather is.
You are great. We just did one together.
Yes.
And
It was fun.
there's a huge difference between what Heather's putting out and what I'm putting out.
No,
Like
I
Travis
don't
was
think
laughing so after you left, because she double booked, so she had to go to
had to be in
Mexico
Mexico Beach
She had to go-
after this.
Yeah, so she's like, how much time I have for this video?
Millville for like 30 minutes to record the video. That's
Yeah.
it. Then I had to drive all the way to Mexico Beach and be there in like
She
30
was a
minutes.
pro. It's like one take wonder. And then with me, I'm like, Travis is like, okay, Casey, take 12. Shh. Like, it was so embarrassing.
No.
And Thomas was like, how long are we going to be here? But it's fun.
It
But
turned
I
out
want to
so
see
good.
you in some
We need
videos.
your outtakes. We need your outtakes.
my gosh.
We
They
need
should
your.
start
I
doing
know they
those
should.
for
We need
us.
Casey's bloopers.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That would be so much fun if
Yeah.
we had bloopers to put out there.
So what is one mistake that you're seeing sellers make?
I think overpricing.
Overpricing.
Yeah, I am refusing listings if
for
we
you.
can't come to an agreement on price
Yeah.
because, the day of we'll just try it and see how it does for 30 days, we just can't. I find myself still feeling like we're back in the market of like 2022 where we list something and we get calls immediately on it, and we don't, especially if it's priced a little bit too high. So average days on market right now, I think we're at 115, and that takes a lot of patience and setting realistic expectations, I think, for everyone to let them know from the gate that that is what we're looking at right now. So if you want to price it competitively to get it to sell, then we need to price it, within 30 days to sell. And also, I think buyers have an expectation of they're looking at multiple homes. There's a lot of inventory on the market right now. So the conversations I'm having with my sellers right now is we got to do the touch-ups. We got to do, if we've got 5 different types of flooring throughout the house, we're going to have to price it effectively because buyers want consistency. If your house smells like pet, these are the things that buyers want. There are tons of new construction out right now, and that smells fresh and clean, and it's walk-in and it's beautiful. And some folks just need to have that hard conversation with, we've got to make the touch-ups to where your house looks, great. And I tell my sellers, you only get one chance to make a good first impression. It's like dating. And so we're not going to put your house out there unless it's perfect. Like, we got to have all these things done. That's why I don't do coming soons, because I don't want to even give a teaser out there. I want it to be perfect. I want the pictures to be perfect. I give them a punch list of things. And in my presentation, when I meet with them, there's one, I give them a booklet, and there's a page on there, and there's like 10 blanks, and for each room has a blank, and we go through every room in the house, and they have like a little punch list there of things that need to be done. Like, decluttering is probably the biggest thing, is because I'm like, as a buyer's agent, when we walk through your house, we're going to open up the kitchen cabinets. We're going to open up, all of the closets. And if the buyer opens up the closets and stuff is falling out, then, we feel like there's no room, like there's no way, like no matter the square footage on the house, these folks have obviously outgrown this house, but my buyer's going to feel like they can't possibly fit in the house either.
Yeah.
I think you're an expert problem solver. Like, I'll have a problem, like say decluttering. You're like, just have them go rent a storage shed.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
Just go rent a storage shed and put the stuff in there, little things. And I think that's why, again, why you're so successful in what you do is you are such a great problem solver.
Yeah.
And do you think that those conversations are getting easier now that you have almost a decade in the business? Like, I know at first I would take any listing.
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
care if I got lost on the way down a
Right.
dirt road to find this place. I was taking any listing and I wasn't saying anything because I
Right.
was so timid and scared. Do you feel like those tough conversations are now easy for you?
I think they are, and I was taking any buyers too. I was driving down dirt roads in Bluntstown and Chipley for houses for $100,000 because I needed the practice though.
Right.
And so I was and so the same thing. But I say it with an authoritative tone that I feel like I am a professional in the industry now, and I want to help you get your house sold. So these are the things that we have to do, and this is what it's going to take to get your house sold.
Yeah. I think a seller, you're not doing any service to a seller or buyer by telling them what they want to hear
Right.
or coddling them.
Right.
Like a child.
I would rather, like you said,
You have to be authoritative.
absolutely. And you've passed on listings. I know you have.
Yeah.
I have too, because it's not worth the headache
Right.
of all the marketing expense and all that. And then it doesn't sell.
Right.
And, now you're out all that money. Like,
Right.
we're in the business of selling.
Right. And I tell
So-
my sellers, I'm like, look, I don't just take a listing to have my sign in the yard, to have my face out there. Like, I take on the expense, and I cannot take on the extra expense of marketing your listing effectively if I can't sell it.
Doesn't make sense. So you've worked in both media and real estate. How has your background in radio and advertising helped you market homes differently than other agents?
I think having the experience of having the marketing background has really helped me because I know I have a strong marketing foundation. And so when I go into my listing presentations, I tell them that is my strong suit. My strong suit is marketing your house. And I do put forth quite a bit of money into my marketing. And I think a lot of folks don't understand the whole process of what we do when we take on listings. And I track the algorithms of my houses daily almost, if not every 3 days. So I watch the trends. And so I know when it's time to do a price reduction. And I know where all the buyers are coming from. I know where where the searches are. I know like where they're looking. And, having the foundation of the marketing has really helped me because a lot of agents aren't doing that. And that has given me, I think, a step up above a lot of agents.
Yeah, you're not just slapping it on the MLS and say,
Right,
peace out.
right,
Like, you're looking to see how many Zillow views are on there, even though we don't use Zillow, but we do that for that. We want to see how many views.
And I'm boosting my listings. I'm paying to boost
So
my
what does
listings.
that mean?
So, sure. So, what that means is that we are actually finding like essentially a circle, and we're saying, hey, like for instance, I had a house. And so if you're saying like your house is over in Bay Point and your demographic is X, and I want to find that demographic, the demographic is, or in Margaritaville, we'll use Margaritaville. So Margaritaville, the demographic is 55 plus, and I want to market to my buyers, as that. So say you have a budget of $500 and you want to market at $500 to find those buyers. And so we will outsearch it as far as we can go for our money, and we can maybe go up to Atlanta even. And so we can do a household income, we can look at the age bracket, and then we kind of make our bubble go bigger and bigger, and we can see how far out we can go with the money that we have with that buyer pool. And then we search it through, so we can do it through YouTube, we can do it through Facebook, and we can distribute our money effectively through that.
And that's just, Brenda in New York that's interested in Margaritaville. She's on Instagram or Facebook.
And she's getting a hit.
And
Right.
she's getting that
Yep.
ad in front of her because of what you did.
Yes. Yeah.
And I don't think every agent's doing that.
I don't think they are either.
So, and it is expensive to do. But have you seen success from
A
that?
direct correlation when I hit my houses the week to 10 days after, a direct market.
Just more calls,
more showings. Yes. Mhm.
Great.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So let's talk about AI.
Sure.
Do you use AI in any of your marketing or how you do business? That's a big thing that's, becoming very popular.
I think we're all using AI. I think buyers are using AI. I think, everyone's using AI every single day. So I think, but we can't lose that personal relationship, and buyers still trust us, the person, the individual, that personal touch. So although buyers and sellers might be doing the marketing part and the research on AI, they still need our personal connection to help them, guide them through the transaction. So I don't think AI is ever going to take over, essentially they can unlock doors, but they can't help them through the emotional transaction of that personal connection.
Or
they won't ever
negotiating.
take through. Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, inspections and things like that.
Did you see, you guys know who Ryan Serhan is?
Of course.
Did you see where
Yes.
the seller, did you see this? Where, so it was a seller and a buyer, they were in negotiations, okay? The seller and the buyer both informed, use AI. So they went on whatever they went on, ChatGPT or whatever, and the seller was like, is this a good deal? And AI told him, no, you could get more for the house. Same question posed for the buyer, is this a good deal? And there's like, oh yeah, you offered too much.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, you really need an
Right.
agent, during those negotiations to
Right.
kind of, I think it killed the deal, honestly. So I think it could be a tool, but it also, I agree with you, Angie. I don't think it's going to replace bodies.
No, of course not.
Real estate can be emotionally exhausting at times. How do you personally handle stress and avoid burnout in the business?
Sure. So, I mean, I think it's important to try to turn off your phone and have boundaries, whether that's 8 o'clock at night for you or whatnot. But I think it's important to be able to set boundaries from the beginning with your clients that, that after 8 or whatnot is your family time. And I think it's good to take one day off if you can at all possible, whether it's going to the island, it's doing family stuff, it's sitting out by the pool and just decompress. You don't always have to be, I think with our cell phones now, we have set the expectation that we're always available because people know they always have their cell phone on them. And I think you train your buyers and your sellers that if you're always instantly available, then you're always going to get that immediate response. And I tell folks from the beginning when I interview them, the person in front of me gets all of my attention. And understand that when I'm with them, they get all my attention. I try not to be on my phone, and I'll get back with you in a timely manner. But just know that, whoever's in front of me has to have all my attention.
Do you have the read receipts on there?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
No.
I just have delivery
No.
only.
I don't either.
No.
But we've
I
talked.
did learn the hard way with that
Oh, really?
because they saw I read
Oh,
it.
yeah.
All
And you're
right.
just trying to have a life.
Yeah.
But I think we are just so it's a consumer business, customer service driven.
Sure.
So it's very hard. I mean, we've talked about this before. When you have a lot of listings, which you're predominantly a listing agent. I mean, you sell a lot to buyers as well. So I don't want to take that away, but it's hard if you get showing requests and things like that. But you use showing time.
I do. I think everyone should. I don't see why
I
they
love
don't.
Showing time. Well, the
Yeah,
only
I love showing time.
say you're in a different MLS and you're because I just had this when I had to show homes all over the Panhandle. You're in a different MLS, so you're having to use MLS Advantage. So you can't necessarily put in a showing, but you could always do showing time or text.
Yes. And that's
Right.
what I do for my
Yeah.
listings because a lot of folks just don't like to use showing time for whatever reason. And that's fine too. But it's so easy though. It's, it's great. I was doing showing houses all weekend, and I do use the showing cart, which helps you schedule it, and it just does turn by turn direction.
And it arranges
does
them too,
turn by
right?
turn
I've never
directions.
done that.
Does turn by turn directions for your buyers.
nice.
Send your buyers a link, and they can download it on their phone, and it gives them turn by turn directions on where they're going for their house.
And it maps.
And it
with
maps it for them. Yes, it does everything. So it's amazing. So they can just, they know exactly where they're going. And it does it turn by turn. So it does it, chronologically where it makes sense. But yeah, so I do that. I'll send it out through showing time. And then the agents that ignore the request, I know that they don't use the showing time, and that's
You
fine.
call over and text
Yeah,
them.
then I have to follow up, right? And so, but that's fine. I think it's amazing. It's great. It's super simple. Otherwise, it won't replace the conversation that we have to have and the phone calls and stuff. But it does save time.
For those of you who don't know what showing time is, what is it? Just really quick.
Yeah, it's an automated service,
Yeah.
and it's great. And so I tell my sellers too, I use it. And I know as a buyer's agent, we get really bombarded with a lot of phone calls, and everyone wants feedback. So as a listing agent, I like showing time because it does give the agents 3 times a bounce back communication of, hey, how'd you like my listing? How'd you like my listing? How'd you like my listing? And it grades it, essentially. It gives like the house a report card, and it says, how did you feel like the house was priced fairly? What is your buyers interested or whatnot? And so it's just all an automated program, super simple.
So instead of having to contact that agent
yep.
for access, you can go through this automatic system and select a time and day
Yep.
that you would like to show that property. You can review that request. A lot of times, if the property's vacant, you could just set it where it automatically approves
Go and show.
it if no one
Absolutely.
is showing during
Sure.
that time. So
It's like a fast pass at Disney, essentially.
fast pass
Yeah.
Disney. I like that. Speaking of feedback, are you giving feedback when you show a property? I know you show properties all weekend. We all worked all weekend. It
Yeah,
sounds like. I know.
think so.
are you giving feedback? I know you showed several. I think you showed like 9 or 10 the other day. Are you giving feedback to these agents?
I am. I'm giving very vague feedback. If it's basically if it made it in the top 3 or not, and then things if I can feel like would be productive to let them know, then I do. But just simple things that the buyer is comfortable telling me that I can tell them, or my personal feelings on the house and what I feel like as an agent might help them.
I think feedback's important, but a lot of agents aren't.
I do
feedback.
too, because your seller is always going to be asking you for that report on who's shown it and what have they say. Do you disclose when it's your personal feedback that it is your personal feedback?
I do. Yeah. Usually I'll say I feel like this, or my buyer said this, and I ask my buyer if it's okay if I can give feedback because they know because I'm getting hit up with it usually right after we leave the house or whatnot. But I'm primarily a listing agent, and I know my sellers like the feedback, so I try to do the common courtesy,
especially if they're not gonna.
Leaving
offer,
the feedback too.
Or they're not going to offer on that house.
Right.
Like, hey, the house smells like cat.
Right.
Like, we got to do something about this. That helps the listing agent.
Absolutely.
But the reason why realtors are not so inclined to give feedback is because there was a lawsuit on this. And correct me if I'm wrong. So you had a seller on their house, a buyer went and viewed it. There was a lot of updates that the house needed. And that feedback was given to the seller, like, hey, there's too much work here. And I guess it offended the seller. Well, some time passed, the buyer came back and placed an offer on that property. Negotiations were tough. The seller did not want to negotiate because of that previous feedback that was given, that was disclosed. And so now there's a lawsuit about it. And that's why, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of times I'll ask for feedback. They're like, sorry, I'm not giving you any. Or you just don't even get a response.
Yeah, agents are just being cautious right now.
Cautious.
We don't want to be sued. This was Arkansas, I think, is where it was, somewhere else, but
Yeah, you have to be careful, and I think how I go about my business now is I always ask for permission from my client. Can I share this? And then I'll be comfortable, because listing agents need feedback. That's what helps us quite a bit. I always tell my seller, like, hey, days on market, how many showings we get, and the feedback's really going to, determine whether we need to do a price adjustment or what we need to work on.
If the carpet needs to be changed, or, if something needs to be painted, or, absolutely.
We have to ask this because we know so many agents can relate. How do you handle dealing with inexperienced or untrained agents during a transaction? With so many agents entering the business locally, does this add stress to deals, and how do you stay professional while still protecting your clients and customers?
Sure. I think we need to remind ourselves we were all new at this at one point. And, I try to pride myself in leaving every transaction as them wanting to do another transaction with me again. I don't ever want them to drive by and see my sign and be like, whoa, we don't want to do a deal with them, So everyone was new at some point. So let's just try and get through the transaction together. And, we're all a big team in this together. No matter what brokerage we're at, we're all in the team together. We're all working the deal together for the common goal of closing the transaction. So let's just try and get through this as best as possible. Let's get through the repairs together. Let's just all do this together. Like, we're all a team. So we're not on sides. We're all working this together. And, not everyone is trained as equally as every brokerage was. So if we can help them through the transaction and educate them together to make this deal close, then, that's just our common goal.
Yeah.
We are all transaction brokers. A lot of people, and a lot of if you're in California, they don't understand this concept. We could be single agent. We can act as that. That has to be disclosed, especially in the MLS. I think we can disclose it as a single agent if we wanted to, but a lot of people don't understand what a transaction broker is. So can you explain that?
Sure. It's just a transaction broker, just simply means that we are a transactional broker. So we are handling the transaction equally as a transaction broker. So
it's not always, it's like what's in the best interest of both and in the transaction, essentially.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Yes.
And so, I think let's just all get along. But I've had deals where, you're doing 90 and they're doing 10. And it could be inexperience or just training or whatever. I know when I got in, I think we had 1,800 realtors.
Yeah.
Now we have over 2,500. So I don't know if it's just like Netflix or, these shows.
Selling Sunset.
What do you think attributes to all these realtors getting into this business? Do they think it's easy? Because we know it's not easy.
Well, that goes back to social media. I think a lot of us are, claiming our success on social media, which we should. But I think a lot of people do see and feel like it is easy. And they want to get into our trade, which is great. I mean, I think great. The more agents we have, the more agents to sell all of my listings, which is fantastic. I think that's great. Yeah. But I think, it is. I think it goes back to training though, and it's a process. It is a process, and it's tough. And it goes back to the whole 6-month thing of I won't get a paycheck for 6 months. So, and it's constant. I tell people all the time, what you're doing today, we wake up every day unemployed, and what you do today sets a foundation for what you get paid on probably in 90 days. So if you want to have a couple spa days, and you want to have a couple days off, or you want to take a week off or 2 weeks off, but you're setting yourself up for the foundation of having no paycheck in 90 days. So,
that's a good point.
Yeah.
What advice do you give to a brand new agent, just got on with a broker? What piece of advice would you give them?
Just that, to tell everyone you possibly can what you're doing in a non-aggressive way. And so,
is that what you did?
Yeah, that's what I did. I went back and told all my circle of influence of what I was doing and how I changed, and on social media of what I was doing. And it wasn't like a, use me, use me, use me. It was just a, hey, if you're in the market, please support me. This is what I'm doing. I've changed. This is my career path now. If you know someone buying or selling, give me a chance. And I remember our broker told us, when I first started, he said, hand out 5 cards, or maybe it was Buffini, but someone said, hand out 5 business cards a day and see if you can hand out 5 business cards a day from whatever you did, or wear your shirt, or just have a conversation with people wherever you go. And I thought to myself, I'm like, I'm going to do this 5 times a day. If I can do 5 times a day. And then I just wanted to get, something under contract within 30 days. And then I had in my mind I wasn't going to fail. I was going to keep on going. And like I said, I didn't know about the whole Rookie of the Year thing. I just knew I just was going to do this.
And you're super competitive, which helps.
I am a little bit competitive. I am.
You're super competitive. It's a fact, but I think that's what makes you you and why you're so successful. When I started, I heard the same thing. So Steve must have told me the same thing.
It must have been.
I was like in the grocery store. I was like in Publix. And this old lady, she was looking for ketchup. I was like, I can help you find some ketchup. And by the way, I'm in real estate. Here's my card. Now I don't do that anymore, which is nice, but it's super uncomfortable when you first start. But you have to I feel like you have to be super uncomfortable in this business if you want to be successful. But I was in the grocery store, like, hey, here's your ketchup, and by the way, I'm in real estate, if you're looking to move or whatever, I'm your girl. I can help you find a house, just like I helped you find this ketchup.
And your friends and family, they always want to support you.
Yes,
I think.
Of course.
So reaching out to them in your sphere is best.
Absolutely.
I used to go into the grocery store. Well, I was a single mom at the time, so I had like no other option than to succeed. But I would put my name tag on upside down.
Oh,
as a conversation starter.
Oh, on purpose.
So on purpose.
Oh, that's genius.
On purpose. And someone would say your name tag's like,
I love that.
oh my gosh, you're right. Here's my card if you're ever in the market.
That is amazing.
I love that.
I used to have a name tag. I don't even know where my name tag is.
I don't know where mine is anymore either.
It's nice to not be there like this, because that is so like calling up people that you haven't spoken to in a long time, but you just have to do it.
Yes.
If you want to be successful, there's stiff competition. There's great realtors, but at the end of the day, there's only a small percentage doing the majority of business. We've talked about this,
right? We seem to work with the same amount of people, over and over again.
So you're not concerned of like AI or other agents because you know what you bring to the table, right?
I'm not concerned with the
You
commotion.
tell me all the time not to be concerned.
I'm glad you listen. I just say don't be concerned with the competition or the commotion. Focus on yourself.
Absolutely.
Stay in your own head. Stay within yourself and be confident in yourself and just work on your own game.
Yeah.
Got to work on your own game.
I love that. Have you ever had a transaction that completely went sideways or tested your patience? What happened and how did you get through it?
There's so many, and we can't talk about those. Of course. No. I mean, I think there's...
I feel like once a month.
I know, right? I mean, we all do. We all do, but it keeps it interesting, though. It keeps it so interesting. Every transaction is different, and we could all write a book about the things that we do. We really could. Every transaction is different. Everything is. I tell my sellers all the time, and my buyers, I'm like, every transaction is unique to them, whether it's a $200,000 deal or a $2 million deal. every deal to them is their $2 million deal, you know, because it's just that important to them. But I remember one of the first deals I ever did, the buyers called me and he wanted to buy a house for his wife and wanted to surprise her. And I was like, oh, this is so scary. Like, this is one of my first deals, you know? I'm like, this is, and I knew them really well. Yeah. And he's like, I want to do it for I want to surprise her. I want to surprise her. And I was like, okay, we'll do this. And he surprised her and she loved it and it was great, but it was super nervous. It was super nerve-wracking.
Absolutely. Because
Yeah.
what if she doesn't like surprises? And
Right,
what if she's
I
really
know.
particular on the house?
Right. And what if this one didn't go well, you know? I mean, who knows? Yes, absolutely.
You had one the other day. You have so many funny ones. But it was like an investment property. You remember this one?
I don't know what you're talking about.
He's already closed on it.
Oh, I don't know.
It was like a shack, really, but you were showing it and you were like, I'm not going inside. I'm going to stay outside.
Oh, I do remember this. Yes. Yeah.
But you closed it.
I did,
You closed
yeah,
it.
yeah.
They ended up buying it. Are they going to fix it up?
He's going to
and
flip it. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, it was a little like we didn't. I remember we were talking on the phone and she didn't know if there was somebody inside or not. You've had a couple of those where you weren't sure if there was like squatters or something like
a couple of my investors like these
like
flip
a
properties.
safety thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think safety. I think
Yeah.
that's one thing that we don't really talk about much in real estate. But I was telling her on the phone, it's not worth it. It's
I know.
not worth
It's not worth
it.
your
But I
life.
love these investors. So
Look at
I was
her.
like, I
Even
know.
for her
I'm there,
clients,
I
she's gonna put her
know.
life on the
I know.
line.
I'm like, I will open the door for you.
But you got it closed.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that'll be on the market soon.
Yeah.
What are buyers struggling with the most right now, in your opinion, in our local market?
I think rates and what they're able to get nowadays for their money. I think setting realistic expectations with having the conversation with them from the beginning about how much they're spending on rent, so they know, and getting them approved from the jump. You know, I think is really important. And also, what was the question again? I forgot to ask them again.
What are buyers struggling with the most right now in our local market?
So rates obviously is super aggressive for them, and then setting their expectations with what they're able to afford. And then, you know, new construction offers great rates. So having, you know, some buyers just love new construction and some buyers like, you know, the pre-sales. So, you know, what you're able to get now with what you're able to get 5 years ago even is a big jump. So getting them pre-approved, first and foremost, always getting them pre-approved so we know what their budget is, but rates aren't what they used to be. So
You have a great relationship with these bulk builders like D.R. Horton, Adams. You have Holiday, you have Lennar, which you introduced me to Lennar.
yeah.
And I think it's more so like, okay, you're going to get a 4.99, sometimes it's even 3.99 rate.
Yes.
You might have a smaller yard, but
Right.
if this is what you can afford. This is what you can afford.
And there's no 10 out of 10 too. I tell my buyers all the time, you're never going to find a perfect house. There's no 10 out of 10. So if we can find like a 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10, and you can help make it a 10 out of 10. And most people live in their houses, you know, for maybe 3 to 5 years. But yeah, I mean, just the most aggressiveness part of is just finding out what they're comfortable being able to spend. And inventory right now is so high, so they have a lot to look at. And I think we're spending a lot of time making sure that they find exactly what they're looking for because inventory is so high right now.
I think it could be quite overwhelming.
Sure, of course.
You know, I mean, I don't know, y'all aren't under contract yet, but you were showing 10 homes yesterday or the day before, because there's just so much to pick from.
Right. They have
So
so
how do
many
you-
opportunities to look at. So, I mean, there's 6 months of inventory right now. So,
Yeah.
yeah, they have.
Have you had a buyer with like analysis paralysis where they just can't make a decision? How do you handle it?
Right, because they're so educated.
Yeah.
Because and that's tough. I mean, they look at everything, and then we got to look at the age of the HVAC, and we got to look at the age of the water heater, and then we have insurance. So, yes, I mean, we have seriously very well-educated buyers right now that, you know, and that just takes time, and they need to weed it out. So they need to, you know, it just takes time with them. Sometimes some buyers take longer than others, and some buyers are super fast, and some buyers we just take a little bit of nurturing with. And
I will say one of my favorite clients of all time, I'm still working with them. I'm trying to actually sell one of your listings to them. I probably showed them 80 homes.
yeah,
And we started at mobile homes, like manufactured mobile, whatever. And we ended up getting them in a really nice house. But I was like on the brink of
Right.
like, I don't have time
Right.
to, you know.
Right,
because
it's crazy.
With, you know, showing this many homes every week, you know, we were doing like, you know, 10, 15 a week. I was burnt out. I didn't think they were ever going to make a decision. They finally made a decision. It's actually turned out to be one of my favorite clients. So, but yeah, I have fired. Or walked away. Should I say walk away?
Walk away is probably
Just
a better way to
cut
put
your
it.
ties.
But I like how Angie says sometimes some buyers just take a little more time.
Yeah.
Well, it's crazy though, because then
That's
you're
so
like, is
sweet.
this ever going to happen? Is this
Yeah.
ever going to
Yeah,
happen?
yeah,
Is this ever
yeah.
going to happen? And then
Yeah.
you're like, gotta divorce these people. And then you're like, but then you're gonna turn them over to somebody else, and then they're gonna buy the next
Yes,
week. So you're like, I can't.
Yes.
You're like, I'm so involved. I have to
Yes.
say that. You're like, I've
Yeah,
got.
that's the thing. Is like
right.
you like weigh like how much
Right.
time do you have
I know.
invested versus if I walk away, I lose
Right.
all that time and
You're
money
like,
and
the
effort.
next agent is gonna sell
Yeah,
them the
in a
next
week.
house they're gonna look at.
Yeah.
You're
Right.
like, just one more week.
Right. You're like, I've done all this sweat equity work. I can't do it.
What's one thing consumers don't realize happens behind the scenes during a real estate transaction?
All of it. I mean, everything from the negotiations to the relationships we have with lenders and title companies and handyman and, we got to get the survey and the negotiation parts and communication. I mean, we have to have great communication because without great communication, without patience, the transaction can just go south. So I think the amount of time we spend on our phone through all of that, I think people don't understand the behind the scenes of all the fires that we're putting out before our buyers or sellers even realize it was a fire.
Sometimes I just take care of the problem.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't even bother with them. I remember talking, I mean, we talk all the time real estate.
Yeah.
Well, and we're friends.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what do you do? And you're like, I just got done pressure washing a house. Yeah. What?
Yeah.
What in the
I
world?
know. So I have delegated a lot more than I've
Okay,
done myself
good.
lately. But I
There's
mean,
just so many things.
yeah.
I mean, you're doing landscaping.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, we're throwing bags of mulch out.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, and vacant houses, we're driving by, flushing toilets, running water, checking on houses. I mean, the other day I had a Tidewater on a house that I fought and won. And people don't even realize that we do these things.
What's a Tidewater?
Right. I was just going to
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
what's a Tidewater? So a Tidewater is when you have a VA buyer. It was my listing. We had a VA buyer that submitted an offer and it didn't hit value. And that could be a difference of value on $500. It could be a $5,000. It could be $20,000 of value. You don't know, but you just know that they notified you to let you know that the value isn't meeting value. And as a listing agent, you are given an opportunity to submit comps and submit your case essentially as to why you feel like the value is the value. So,
and you got them up.
You won.
I happened to be
her up.
out of town. Yeah, I happened to be actually out of the country at the time. So it was a little difficult for me to have submitted all of my info, but I still went to bat and I still submitted all my things and it came back at value. So
That's a testament
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah,
is,
it's,
you're
that's
on
awesome.
vacation, and I can't speak for other agents, but that's just such a testament to what you do and just working while you're, trying to enjoy yourself, have a little bit of time off. And I mean, how much did he come up or she can't, I don't know what the appraiser was, a he or she.
he didn't tell us.
Oh,
yeah, I
okay.
don't know. I don't
Oh,
know.
so you don't
yeah,
know
I don't
how
even
far-
know. We don't
Okay,
know.
so
I don't know.
You got them
Yeah,
up
I don't
and
know.
saved the deal. And
Yeah.
I'm sure the seller was very appreciative
Right,
of that.
he was. Yeah,
not
my
everybody
sellers
does
were
that.
great.
Not everybody
Yeah.
does that. They're just
some
like,
people just
okay.
let it ride.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
let it ride and, take the deal or, try to
Which
pressure.
is baffling to me. Why
Yeah.
not throw the noodle at the wall and just try to submit
Yeah.
comps?
I feel like I have to.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to.
I think that's part of my marketing. Part of my marketing presentation, everyone's different,
Yeah.
but it's like I have success with, going to bat for you and getting an appraiser to come up because, it's a lot of work. It's not just like, here's one comp. It's
Right.
why.
We don't price it with our heart.
Yeah.
Right, right.
You volunteer with therapy dogs and spend time giving back to the community. How important is community involvement in building relationships and trust in real estate?
So that's like my downtime. That is no one really knows I'm a real estate agent at the time. That is that's my alter ego. That's just my time that I can just not have real estate conversations sometimes and be somebody different. And so walking into the nursing home and seeing those people, that might be the only conversations they have, for those couple morning visits that I do, and the joy that it brings them by bringing the dog around. So it's just it's my mental break of not having real estate conversations. So I have my real estate friends, and I have my other friends that aren't real estate friends, and then I have my off time that I have with a dog, and seeing the kids' faces or the veteran's face when I bring the dog in, it just gives me a mental break to just be in my zone of just helping other people, just feeling good, petting the dog, and just having conversations about them.
And what you do, I did some research on it.
Mm-hmm.
I should have before because we're friends, but I didn't realize like you have to get these certifications and all. You have to go through all this
Weeks of training.
I had no idea just to be able to do this because obviously you don't want to bring a dog that's going to bite a veteran.
Can't. And the dog has to be licensed and insured. And
Ace listens to you pretty well.
Ace does listen to me really well.
Ace is her son's dog.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a 105-pound German Shepherd, and he has to go through weeks of training before he's licensed and able to participate in these things. And so he's gone through weeks of training. And my son also is licensed as well, so he went through the training too. And so I thought it was just going to be something that I was going to do, but he has taken it on too, that he can do it too. So
I think it makes their month. I don't think it makes their day or their week. I think it makes their month.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's just a change of scenery. And, you know,
they get so excited. These folks at the nursing home and stuff get so excited that they brightens their entire day. So they get so excited.
And you do kickboxing as well?
I do. Yeah, I feel like everyone they need a break. They need a mental break from real estate. So whatever it is, if it's just, whatever your out is, if it's the beach or if it's, spending time with, my kids are older now. So I joke about the dog thing, but my kids are out of the house. So I don't have kids in the house anymore. So, I spend my time with the veterans and, whatever your go-to is that you can mentally just take a break from. It's my grand dog, so
you have
I spend
Christmas
money.
pictures with this dog.
I know, right? But it takes a lot to get the dogs trained and certified, and just the joy that it brings people. And some of these folks, like whether they're in the nursing home or even the kids, like a lot of kids are scared. And he's a German Shepherd, so a lot of kids are afraid to even pet the wolf. They call him the wolf. So a lot of kids are even afraid to pet the wolf. And I remind them that he's trained and he's not a wolf. He's he's tame. And so I think a lot of kids are scared of the dogs or him because he looks fierce. He looks like a wolf. And so I think it's just training kids to be gentle with animals too when we go to the schools and stuff, and just teaching them that.
Do you read
nice
to the
them.
kids?
We read to the kids.
Okay.
Yeah, so either we'll go in there and we'll read them books. So we just do multiple different things. So like whether it's an autism day, we'll go to their autism function, or they'll have like a book night, or it's just whatever events that they have at their school where they want the therapy dogs to go. So it's
good for you.
Yeah, it's special needs. It's anything. It's field day. It's autism. It's multiple different things. And so.
Let me ask you this. We'll switch gears a little bit. If there's one thing about the real estate industry that you could change, what would that be and why? Let's be honest. One thing you could change about real estate.
Yeah.
I mean, I what I could say for me, for example, is I think, like we've talked about this, we hit on this, is the consumer's perception of realtors and what we do. And that, what did you say? Just open doors?
Yeah.
I wish I could change that. And I think there needs to be more education out there on that. I think with social media and stuff, people just think it's so easy. We're making so much money. They don't understand. Like, okay, you have your gross and you have your net.
Yeah.
And the people that are making a good amount, we are working around the clock.
I think it needs to go back to us educating them. And I like the fact that, like, when we do a just sold, and when I try to do a just sold, I try to tell a story, because it's not just, no one just cares about your picture of your just sold house, and no one cares about the money or what the house was, or no one understands that. But if I can tell them a story about how I helped this new family, those first time home buyers, get into this house, and how I showed them houses for a year, or I showed them houses for 2 years, or whatever it was. But I think it's more about the storytelling of what we're doing and how we are building these relationships with these people. I think we need to get back to the storytelling of more of what we do than the just sold and the just listed.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's a good answer, Angie. Good job. Yeah. Are you ever going to get a billboard? I just thought of that.
Did you
question.
see my story the other day on Facebook about the faces and about putting your face out?
It was hysterical, and I'm so glad I don't have a billboard for that post.
Because of your face? Because of your face?
She's making fun.
You did. You laughed at it. You ha-ha'd it. You ha-ha'd it.
I just thought of that.
It was your face.
On the way to drop my daughter off,
because we saw your face.
I saw 4 billboards.
Did you that day?
Of this morning.
Yeah.
Of real estate agents, and I was like,
just because we saw your face. We saw your face.
I mean, my personal take on it, do what you got to do.
Remind me what the post said. Just because I saw your face, I'm going to work with you.
You laughed at it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was a guy.
Okay.
It was a guy, and he was like, imagine, just because people woke up and saw your face and you're a realtor and it's like, imagine your parents just loved you so much that they're like, we love your face so much. Yeah, the confidence that the real estate agents have your face everywhere.
If you put that picture of you in the bathing suit from this weekend,
the Baywatch
I'm
picture.
all for it,
The Baywatch
because
picture.
it would work. You would get every single dude hitting you up.
Heather,
For sure.
To carry on.
If you're gonna do a billboard, you need that picture on there.
Heather needs her Baywatch picture.
It is a Baywatch picture.
Thanks, guys.
They should bring back Baywatch.
No
for
more
that
Cheetos
picture.
for us, right? No more Cheetos for us. We need to put the picture on our fridge, Casey.
I do. I need to put it
know.
on my fridge every time I try to go for something that's bad, or mainly it's my pantry, because that's where all the toddler
Snacks are. I know. I saw your pantry.
No, I sent her a video of my pantry the other day. I was so proud because I had cleaned out my pantry, like all like expired stuff.
I'm a true
5
friend.
years ago.
I'm a true friend.
So I'm wanting some positive feedback from my friend of all this like work. I mean, it was like 3 hours to clean out this pantry, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, you have the worst foods in there and snacks. This is so unhealthy." And I was like, "That's not what I was going for, Angie." But I appreciate the positivity or the positive feedback on. I need to get some healthier snacks for my toddler.
Sorry. Heather and I are on this health kick. I'm sorry. You
You
sent
guys
it to
are
the
on this-
wrong person.
I need to get on board.
You sent it to the wrong person.
I do need to get on board. It was all processed foods. Like,
was
all
all-
like
it
Cheez-Its.
was.
Like it was like the word we've talked about this.
Yeah.
It was like gummies. Like she likes the fruit. Like snack. I've given in because I'd rather her eat crap than not eat.
At least eat.
So
Yeah.
I've just given in to that.
And I
but-
didn't see the before of the pantry. So I think if I would have saw the
picture
before
worse.
of the pantry,
Yeah.
I didn't really know what I was looking at.
It is mostly toddler snacks, but I eat it too. So I can't even say that's just for swear. It's for me too. But okay.
You know, I'm your honest friend, right? I mean, we know
No,
this.
that's I wanted your honesty. I just thought she was gonna be like, "Oh my gosh,
So good.
There's
in
that
there.
one show. It's like an organization show. It used to be real popular. I used to watch all the time. So I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that." And I thought it looked really good, but I didn't realize that I have trash in there.
I drive around with trash in my car.
Do you guys feel? She was eating goldfish the other day.
It's the only thing that was in the car.
That's
I hadn't
not
eaten
bad,
breakfast.
though.
But we
Goldfish
go,
isn't
go, go.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
we're
yeah.
constantly moving, you know?
How do you stay in
So-
shape? How do you stay in shape in this business?
I feel like it's taken me years.
I mean, you look great.
Years
Both-
and
You guys
years.
are just.
Because Ralph's 3 now. And that's when I started running. So,
And you did the color run.
Yeah,
you
with
did
the
that. That
scar.
was cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw your pictures of you and the kids.
yeah, that was fun. I
Sarah
hope Seaford
has
does that.
had tickets, and she's like, "Hey, I have these tickets. You want them?" I'm like, "No, we're getting off of a cruise ship. I'm not gonna be in any shape to run." Did you run the whole thing?
Well, no.
Okay.
Me and Scarlett
Oh, yeah,
walked
you
and
and
ran. We took
Scar-
it
oh, good.
easy. But we were there for the fun
Yeah,
part of it.
That is
I wasn't
fun.
trying to
Those
win.
are great memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
those
sure.
are great. Yeah, I think it's cool that she sees her mom so active too.
Yeah, I think that's
know?
important.
It's very
Oh,
important.
yeah, it's very important.
Yeah.
You're setting the foundation.
Yeah.
Okay, Angie, what's the craziest or funniest thing you have seen during a showing or transaction? You're not giving us much about. Are you afraid to?
No.
I mean, you do need to start keeping a book and
Yeah,
keeping
we
track
really
of these
do.
because you have some great ones.
I know, we really do.
Do you have any that you want to share with us? Like a funny or crazy transaction that you can think of?
Gosh.
Do you have any? I know you said you had.
I had one last week, but like
can't-
as soon as it was done, I forgot.
You forget.
And,
because
but I
it's-
remember thinking in the car, I need to write this down because this would be good for the podcast. And now it's gone.
I had,
Here it goes.
I know. And I thought about what would be appropriate to talk about because I have so many, and there's so many that
So
aren't
many.
appropriate to talk about.
So many.
And I'll keep this PG. And I just we use Showing Time, and we confirm our showings all the time. And this is a couple months ago. And these folks obviously did not know that we were coming because I knock on occupied houses too because I'm afraid. And we walked in and they were still in bed. So
Oh, yeah. You taught me that where you do the knock.
I
you're like-
do.
You're like,
I knocked.
Angie Hale, you're
I do.
Like
I'm
super
the
loud.
police. I'm the police.
So were they just shocked or like?
Yeah, we were
what
all a
in-
little shocked. And I'm always first to walk in because when the doors are closed, I always knock still on the bedroom doors and whatnot. And so I'm always first to go in. Some people always go behind me. And people were still home. It was a big
Awkward.
accident. Yeah, it was big. Yeah. So
Did they let you see the house?
happened. I know, right?
Are we still on for the
Yeah, I I know.
Like, I drove like 30
I
minutes
know,
to get here.
right?
Can we still see it? Like, we
This
just won't shut that
bedroom's
room?
off limits.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I did not know anyone was home. But yeah, I mean, we have so many funny stories and so many just crazy moments. I think that helps with the stress level
Yeah.
too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, every transaction lasts 30 to 45 days. And, you know, and these folks are with us for 30 to 45 days. And usually they're, you know, we stay in contact with them after.
Every client
And-
wants to be your best friend.
I know. We stay in touch with them.
Yeah.
And, you know, this is an important transaction for them. And
But I'm just saying for
we
you
are-
specifically, like
yeah.
they see like, okay, after 45 days or,
Yeah.
or even if it's 2 weeks of his cash or whatever,
Yeah.
they're like, no, we're going to be hanging out in the
Yeah.
future. But
Yeah,
it's
and
tough
we do
'cause-
pop by gifts or,
Yeah.
you know, we stay connected on Facebook or whatnot, and we build relationships with these folks. And this is it's a big deal for them. It's a big stepping stone for them. I know I tell them after I got divorced, I rented for 10 years. And so because I was a single parent and I wasn't on my radar to buy a house, I was divorced military and I didn't plan on being here. So I was just going to stay in this one house and rent it. But I mean, for 10 years, it's almost $200,000 I spent in paying someone else's mortgage.
Wow.
And so I didn't, you know, but it wasn't on my radar to buy. And I was like, I'm not going to be here for very long. And so I tell folks if I can help them just not spend $200,000 to someone else's mortgage. You know, 'cause as
Absolutely.
a single parent with 2 kids, it wasn't on my radar. And
Let me ask you
It's
this
possible.
before you leave, because I like this conversation. What is your take on pools in real estate? What is your take on somebody? They're like, you know, I got to have that pool, the brand new pools. What is your take on it? I want to hear it.
So it's years of family enjoyment. And don't ask me if you get, again, dollar for dollar, you're never going to get dollar for dollar on your house, on any type of investment of your kitchen remodel or not. But the dollar for dollar, or I'm sorry, the memories you're going to make of the kids in the pool, and there's someone specifically I'm talking to, I keep trying to tell them to put the pool in.
Because you have a pool.
I have a pool. I do. And I've always wanted a pool. And I should have put the pool in a long time ago when my kids were younger, and I didn't. But the years of enjoyment of having all the kids over at your house and in your backyard, do you want your kids over somebody else's house, or do you want them over your house in your backyard? So the years of enjoyment of having those family memories of the kids being in your backyard and the vacations of people coming over to your backyard, and the money you'll save from having to go on vacation because you have the vacation in your backyard.
Absolutely.
Such a
I
good
love
sales
this
pitch.
take.
Yeah.
She is.
Heather's getting a pool. She's
I
selling
know.
it.
See,
I'm
I know,
sold.
right? I mean,
Gosh.
so it's and
But like real estate wise, if you just sold them a house and they say, hey, we're gonna move in 2-3 years, probably not the best idea to get a pool.
to put
Would
a
you
pool
agree?
in if you're gonna.
Right, if you're gonna move in 2 or 3
It's
years.
Florida. People want pool houses.
Okay.
Pool houses sell fast.
If anything, it makes it more appealing.
Absolutely.
Look at you.
People want a house with a pool,
So buy
and they
a
want
pool.
it already done for them. People
Yeah.
don't want the stress of having to put a pool built in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know.
You have any other questions?
No.
I do. What's your take on solar panels?
We are not talking about that now.
For some reason, I had a feeling it was coming.
no.
Before we go, I need to know your take on solar panels. Now, we just discussed you have a pool. Do you have solar panels on your house?
No, I do
Why
not
is
have
that?
solar
Why
panels
don't you
on
have
my
solar
house.
panels? We've listened as real estate professionals. We have dealt with this, so I think it's important to talk about. And I think you've talked about it a couple of times on this podcast. But I want your take. You are number one in our company. You are top tier real estate agent for this area. So, what is your take on solar panels?
Okay, my take on solar panels is this. If you have the extra cash, you don't know what to do with it, and you just want to just put it somewhere, you know, and you're like, solar is great, solar is amazing. There's no return on your investment for solar. So for instance, like if people are going to come and try and sell you solar and they're going to tell you that it's going to add $50,000 worth of value to your house, and I'm going to try to list your house, and I'm going to try and sell it for $50,000 more. I cannot get $50,000 more for your house. And essentially, unless you have that extra 50 grand sitting somewhere, you're essentially just swapping out your payment for your loan payment on your solar. So it's really hard for us as real estate agents to come in and say, hey, you owe X on your house, and then now you have a second mortgage because you have this lien against your house for the solar. And most of the time that I see folks with solar, you're not covering your solar. You're not covering your power bill. So not only do you have solar on the house, but you have an additional payment because it's not making up for your power bill. So it's tough. I know some folks are pro solar and they love solar and they just have that extra 50 grand sitting around and they pay cash for their solar. They pay cash for their solar and it's just not a second lien on their house and they love the solar. But no, it just causes such complications. And I feel like it's such a miscommunication when these solar folks come to their house to explain to them that it's not adding dollar for dollar the value of their house. And the buyers, when they come to look at a house with solar that's not paid off, you're asking this buyer to take on the additional loan, essentially.
Who's going to do that?
I have yet to have it happen. So,
Yeah, especially if it's not paid off, the appraisers are coming out and saying, we're not going to give you that value.
Right.
Because it's not paid off.
It's not paid off, right. And then you're asking the buyer to take on a second loan to take on the solar loan payments. And depending on what the buyer's debt to income ratio is, and the buyer has to see a value for that solar too. The only person that's really getting a good deal on the solar is the buyer that's buying the house with the solar paid off. That's the only person that's getting a good deal.
Are they getting a good deal if your insurance is higher and you're taking over a loan? And, are you? I don't know. I mean, I don't think so.
And then when the roof leaks because you have a problem with the solar, and then like multiple times I've had listings with solar, and the solar's been sold to 3 different companies already, and so that's a hard time to find who's going to service the solar problem, the solar panels, when you have a problem with it because the solar company itself has been sold 2 or 3 times.
I've ran into a couple of times recently where they're like, yeah, the solar hasn't worked in like 5 years.
Right.
And I'm like, what do you mean it hasn't worked? They're like, it just doesn't work.
Right.
And we can't get anybody to come out and fix it.
Or take it off.
Or
It's
take it
just a
off.
fixture stuck to the roof.
Right.
And then they have to replace the roof because then it's
Right.
damaged the roof.
Did you ever close on that one house?
Yeah, thank goodness. I found
Good.
a couple of factors.
What happened with it?
The seller had to pay it off, but the title company that we used allowed us to do an escrow holdback because we couldn't get the solar company to give us the payoff amount, and they were going to do it 10 days after closing. So we just did estimated escrow payoff based on their payments. So the title agent did that for us, which I feel like was a huge favor.
Absolutely. So this buyer that bought the listing, they assumed that solar. Oh no, she paid it off.
She paid it off,
paid it
but
off.
they had to do an escrow holdback.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and hold the money until we got the payoff
Gotcha.
after closing, which could have been a mess, but it all worked out.
Why wouldn't they give you the payoff?
I don't know. Solar companies, I have no idea.
But we're seeing more and more houses with solar. I mean, entire neighborhoods have
Yeah.
the solar on it. And I don't know, we don't know the life expectancy of these solar panels.
No.
We're not
Yeah.
even sure how long these solar panels are even going to make it.
Yeah, and just insurance companies now pushing back and saying, I'm not going to insure this house with solar.
Right.
And then you're limited, you don't have that competition and you're limited to who you can use to insure your house. I think it's just a hot mess. I think we need to step away from it. We need to educate homeowners about this because it's a deal killer. It
Yes.
really is. In your case, you're a fantastic agent. You were able to get through it.
But
it's
in
way
a lot
more
of cases.
stress added that if they were just educated up front.
Yeah.
Is there anything today that we talked about that you would like to discuss or anything real estate wise that we haven't covered?
Oh, I think we got everything, right?
We could be here another hour.
I know. I mean, I don't know. I think we got it.
Where do you see the real estate industry going in the next 5 years? You think we're going to see a lot more AI?
I think we will see a lot more AI. I think we're going to see a lot more. I just think we have to get a lot more competitive with our listings. Probably, I think a lot more on social media, a lot more video, a lot more. I think we just have to get out of the box more. I think as we are always doing competitive listings. I just think we need to just remind folks, remind our circle of influence what we're doing. And I think education's key, staying with top of our market of what's going on and what's happening with market trends.
And you're not going anywhere. So if anybody is interested in selling or buying, please reach out to obviously
We're the ladies.
Angie. We're like,
we're here.
Yeah.
we're the little Charlie's Angels over
We're
here.
here.
We can help you. And Angie, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Thank you,
having
Angie.
me. This was great.
This has been fun, for sure. All right, Angie, thank you for spending your time with us today and joining us on the Real Estate Girls podcast. We hope our listeners walked away with valuable insights into how real estate industry truly works from one of the very best in the business, Angie Hale. Your experience, honesty, and perspective made for an incredible conversation.
Absolutely.
And we truly appreciate you sharing your knowledge with us today.
Thanks so much for having me, ladies.
We knew this was going to be a great conversation. If you like to see more of this, please like, comment, subscribe, reach out to us, comment. What would you like to see on future episodes? We are the Real Estate Girls. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.